What's up, everybody? DisThunder back here with you again today to take a look at the Mezco Toys 112 Collective Bartholomew Vex. Vex is the newest addition to the Rumble Society and serves as a formidable foil for Atticus Doom, further fleshing out this very unsettling and creepy H.P. Lovecraft-fueled nightmare dream that is the supernatural side of the Rumble Society. Very much looking the part of some unsettling Victorian-era artwork. Vex comes to us in a frock with a coat underneath, a ruffled shirt, some knee-high socks, and some buckle shoes. Presumably some kind of dark mage or maybe even a godlike figure. Vex seems to have some shape-shifting powers and some astral projection powers, as he includes this eldritch eye projection that magnetically attaches to any of the three included heads. This one might also kind of fit in one of the open hands with a little bit of effort. We also have the Horns of Hothga projection, which is probably my favorite of the included mystical accessories. Again, attaches to the head magnetically and has some really nice paintwork details on it. I'm not 100% up on my Eldritch horror or my Lovecraftian horror these days. There's probably references to this stuff that they've pulled from older material, but for me, it's just cool looking. Let's do a closer look at the three main heads of Bartholomew Vex, the first one here being a closed-mouth version, which is good for a nice, subtle, menacing appearance. I like the changes between the matte and the gloss on different parts of his face. Next, you have an open-mouth version, which is perfect for spell casting or boasting or taunting Atticus Doom. And then lastly, we have the laughing head, which is just awesome. I don't think it's something I'm going to have on the shelf all the time, but as far as option parts go, this has so much personality to it. There's just such a menace to it. It's truly awesome. All three heads are really pretty damn cool in that regard, but this one stands out just for obvious reasons. For the rest of his accessories, we have the slug bag, which opens to hold these accessories and serves maybe kind of as an assistant or a familiar to Vex. There is the curiously simply named red stick with its effect piece, the beggar's paw, the sacred scalpel, and a goblet, and also a number 13 bottle. The severed hand and the scalpel have some really nice sculpted detail on them. The scalpel actually has a face sculpted into the handle. And here's a look at the red stick with its effect piece in place. You can see the all-seeing eye and almost looks like entrails that make up the head of this stick, scepter, whatever the hell it is. But I could see this being sort of as Vex's primary weapon. Articulation went very well for Bartholomew Vex, using a slightly skinnier body that makes it very easy for him to bring his arms up to like adjust his collar, or just for good gesturing, or spell casting poses, that sort of thing. And the costuming is really incredible. You can see there's lots of little button details on the frock and on the waistcoat. You can see his necktie in there. And none of that gets in the way of the articulation. His shoulders maybe just a little bit from the cut of the jacket, but that's how jackets work. You can get him out to about 90 degrees either direction without any stress, and also the legs don't seem to suffer any at all either. His socks come up inside and are stitched to the inside of his pants so they don't come loose, double joints on the knees, of course, and then he's got a pretty good range on two of his torso joints. Allow for a really good range forward and back, in my opinion. I don't know if this is just a Gomez body, but whatever it is, it's outstanding. Even his little buckle shoes have a decent range of motion on the bottom of those socks. I think fabric on plastic like that is always a little bit tougher than the usual Mezco boots and shoes that we have, but it doesn't seem like it's much trouble here. His frock coat also has a posing wire that runs through the front and the bottom edges. You'll find a double-jointed neck there, one that goes into the collarbone, one goes on the top of the head, and that is actually interchangeable for another piece that I will show you in a moment. Great range of motion on the head joints, though. All in all, this is one of those figures that looks as good as it plays. Here's some quick size comparisons using Doc Nocturnal and Atticus Doom, which, as you'll recall, use a smaller base body, which makes Vex feel just that much more intimidating next to the two of them. All three definitely play into that late Victorian, turn-of-the-century time frame that seems to be the area of expertise for Rumble Society. Let's do just a quick, closer comparison. If he will stay put, Atticus, get out of frame. Let's take a quick comparison side by side so you can see just how much taller he is. He's nearly a head taller than Doc Nocturnal. For additional comparison's sake, we'll bring in my new favorite Marvel Legends figure in Crystar. It's going to take a while to get used to saying it the right way. And of course, for consistency's sake, Supreme Knight Batman, who is actually slightly shorter than Vex. Some of that's due to the neck and just how big that head is. But nonetheless, he feels a little intimidating even next to my favorite figure. Lastly, for a little bit of comparison and the last accessory pieces, we have the Lord of Tears Owlman body wearing the Vulture collar and head that also come with Bartholomew Vex. I thought these were just so uniquely cool that I kind of wanted to have a separate body because they feel almost like a different character than Vex. Even though he can obviously shapeshift, so this could just be another one of his more favored appearances. And as much as I like the ram heads, the Vulture sculpt is just almost icky looking at it. And then you add in the Eldritch transformation head, which, yeah, this is like borderline nightmare fuel. That is just awesome. I felt so strongly about it, I actually ended up getting the Lord of Tears body on eBay just so I'd had an extra body to put this on, just because I was so impressed with it. Thankfully, this feels like a return to form for Mezco Toys, which had a really solid year for 2023 with just a few little hiccups here and there. And that means I can recommend this one easily. He is, of course, on the wait list, but let's be real here. At this point, I think I've got like an 85% conversion rate on waitlisting, so it's worth doing if you haven't done it already. And if you watch the little stop motion animation they did to announce his release and you didn't order him then, you gotta be made of stone or something. That was awesome. But if you're not really feeling Rumble Society, or if you're not really wanting to imagine a canon for this guy, don't blame me if you actually do this, but first thing I thought of when I saw this figure was he would look amazing as a Hellfire Club figure, like if you made a Sebastian Shaw with him. I can't pretend like that wasn't tempting as hell. But just as he is, highly recommended. Try to pick him up if you can. Thanks for watching.